Hello and welcome to Ascend with Emily. My name's Emily and I'm ascending. That means you are too, because tuning into these frequencies and these open vibrations of love mean that we're in the same galaxy. Whoa, it's been a crazy ride, but we're definitely here. I want to reach out to you today to ask you about the industry you're in. Because I remember being about 20 and I'd moved halfway up the country to have an adventure, to escape a bad situation that I was in. And I'd done this continuously. I would have 6 months in a place and then 6 months in that place and 6 months in that place. And looking back now, obviously, I can understand I was always trying to find the inner peace within by trying to change my external environment. And now I found that and understood it's definitely not about physically moving. But at 20, when I took one of these first adventures and moved halfway up the country from quite a city life to then go into the countryside where there was basically no external lights, there was no light pollution, it was just moonlit at night, and I was working in a youth hostel. So obviously this was like such a revelation to serve customers and clients that like cared about their environment and chose to be giving their money to industries which wasn't necessarily profit based, and were using those funds to help young people, as we know the youth hostel industry does. So it was a real shift in my consciousness of being part of something. So I do wonder what you feel a part of in your industry, because I remember it giving me a real clear boundary of feeling proud when the product speaks for itself, when you haven't got to really hide behind I just work here, and instead your values and your morals and your ethics are already in line through representing and being hired by that specific company. So there's kind of the first piece of this message that I ask you: who do you work for? What do they represent? Is it just that space where you say, hey, I only work here but I don't represent the values? Because talking from experience, it really gave me something. It really, really gave me something where I felt like, why had I never wanted that actually before? Because before that I was working in a casino as a croupier. I've always been a hippie kid. I had dreadlocks while I was at casino. Oh. Wait, did I have dreadlocks there or did I cut them off after? That's it, I had dreadlocks and then I cut them off as well, like going through this. Anyway, to put it into context, I changed my industry completely because I went into being a croupier depressed, anxious and suicidal and wanting anything to basically make myself feel better, and I was good at maths. So I was like, I feel like that could be my thing, and it was for then. But then what happens then? You consciously upgrade to say, I want something more now. So when I started working for the youth hostel, I felt so proud. We were taking less money from people. It was not about the money. It was about the environment. It was about how people felt. And the story that I wanted to share with you is that when my mother came and visited me from Essex to Shropshire, she sat down and a group of elderly people were hiking and they walked on into the youth hostel, which was this 13th century manor house. And I was so proud to be there because it was such a new experience for me. Fair enough, I was changing 70 beds, making breakfast for 70 as well, hosting weddings. Cleaning the whole thing, like early mornings, late nights, doing the stock deliveries. And part of it was that when this group of people came in to have a tour, and my mother was sitting in the corner, these people came in and I started giving them a tour. I was excited, and as I said, I was proud of the space that I was in, so I wanted to share that. And I took them around the whole building. And they came in at a strange time. It was kind of just after guests had breakfast. And then they were going out for the day. So this tour shouldn't really come in at that time. But once they'd had it, they had an amazing time. I made them tea. It was like sharing my home with people, yeah? That's what it was, that pride. So the number 2 is saying to you, when people come into your place of work, even into your home, but especially in this piece about your place of work, do you feel like proud enough to say they're coming into my home? Do you want to make them feel as happy as possible? Because I remember in my customer service roles that I did always want that. And it didn't matter whether it was a casino when I was feeling suicidal, or it was a youth hostel where I was feeling proud, or many other customer service industry jobs that I'll go into another stage, like making sandwiches and cleaning. I always wanted to feel that whoever came in there couldn't say that I had made them feel uncomfortable, because that was the whole reason that they were there. And I knew that my role in being anywhere is actually to make people feel comfortable, because otherwise they won't come there, right? So I ask you that. Do you really stand up for that and say, you're coming into my space, no matter whether it's my Facebook page, no matter whether it is a meditation class or my mastermind now? But even then it was the same, that they were coming into a space where I was leading it. And as that group left, so happy, and I was so proud and excited, and I made another connection, and they would have beautiful memories from coming there. Beautiful memories, and they talked to their friends and they spread the seed. And I've always known that there's a part of that whatever you're doing, it can spread. So by spreading, like, I'm too busy, go, which I could have said it's not the right time for you to come in, go, I haven't got time for this. We could have done that, and that wouldn't have given them the memory. But I've always gone out of my way to make sure that if I did have the opportunity to pass on a good memory, did I? And I've always done that. I've always wanted to. And some people can't see that. But for those that have experienced my way one-on-one and in group, they know that. They know that although it might be quite intense, they know that the intention is always to boost morale and to make us realise the exquisite nature of the moment is truly to come into the now. So as this group left so happy and a spring in their step, shall we say, my mother said, "That was fantastic, Emily. How often do you have to do these tours?" And that's when I said, we don't do tours. That was the first time anyone's come in for a tour. And my mother looked at me in such shock, because it was so fluid and was just rolling off my tongue to share time with them and to be proud of where I was in my moment, in my cleaning gear with my yellow rubber gloves on, smelling of fry up, but proud of being there to be the host, to be the leader, to say, follow me, I'll give you a nice moment, follow me, we can explore this space together. And I really love doing that, but that was over 12 years ago. So looking back at your past, number 3 part of this is to say, what are those key points in yourself that you are still them now, but perhaps you may have ignored and lost, but you may have actually evolved to notice the change and to look back at yourself and say, I was always that person. I was destined to hold space for people. And obviously my container is called holdingspacefforyou.co.uk. I love holding space for people. No matter whether it was standing in the kitchen while we're cooking the fry up for 70 wedding guests, hungover and wanting to have a cigarette rather than feed these people, it was always about saying, you know, when you're at the front of that, give it your all. Give it your all. The difference in my own evolution now is that actually I've realised you can't give your all. So all that giving your all means to me now is knowing that you only have the now. So I can't give everything in the now. It would be noise. But what I can do is recognise in each moment that I want to be able to reflect back at myself and say, I was the host then as well. I was the leader then as well. I made them feel safe. I gave them a memory. And as we look back at our lives and we recognise the patterns of our strengths and how we're actually embracing them now as a species, truly embracing them, that's my passion. That with all my clients, I ask them, well, you're doing that, okay, but let's open that up. Because the fact that you love doing that, the fact that I loved making people feel excited about being somewhere and choosing to be there in that very moment, come into that youth hostel, all of a sudden in the middle of nowhere, they could have gone anywhere in the world. And yes, I was well within my right to say, please go, we do not do tours. Well within my right. Within the 3D man-made system. But guess what? We're breaking free of those shackles because I make up the rules of my life, not a system, not rules. When I want to work for someone and when I want to acknowledge my life, I am the leader of my life, and so are you. If there's a certain moment, if you're in a customer service industry where you know you could give them a better memory, you know you'd feel better if you did, but you're like, I don't have to do that. I annoyed people my whole career in customer service. They literally would be like, you're such a martyr. Because if someone wanted the tomato ketchup but I didn't have to get it, I'd be like, I'll get that for you. That's all right. I love it. I love being nice to people. I love it. It makes them feel comfortable. And fair enough. If they're not polite to me, I'll make a decision in that moment. Because guess what? Boundaries increase when you realise, hey, I'm being good to you, be good to me, yeah? So right now with my services, if someone's not valuing me, if someone's not saying that they are actually invested in the change, guess what? My boundaries are so high. My boundaries are high. I know what I do. I can bring people into the space and make them happy with their choice. Really happy. But it's no longer ever held in the space of being a martyr. It's very strong, it's very precise, because guess what? I'm still serving customers, but instead I understand they're my soulmate clients, absolute soulmate clients. And guess what? Those people in that youth hostel also are my soulmate clients. And guess what? When I reflect back to that time, do I have one bad memory about it? No. Do I look back and say, I didn't have to do that, I'm such a good person? No. I look back and say, I had a good time. I had a real good time. Because me, Emily, my vibration, I don't like authority. And I never have. I've always wanted to be the leader, the front of my life. And being in customer service, guess what? You will know if you are. You've got to do what they say. But really I understand why I spent so long in so many different varieties of customer service. And it was to say to myself, I'm here to give people a good time so that they can never complain at the service they received, that they had a good memory, that if they said in their gambling days, oh, I've lost this money, I'd say, do you know what? There's more to life, isn't there? We're here together right now. I'm glad to see you. You've come here to see me. And it wasn't spiel. I wish they weren't there. But the fact they were, the fact that anyone's in your space, yeah, you can always upgrade the moment to be a special one if that's your highest intention, if that's your passion. So I ask you right now, fourth piece. If you are in an industry that isn't literally there to make people feel better, because guess what? 80% of industry literally just wants to take their money. It doesn't actually care about their memory. It doesn't care about their heart. It doesn't care. It just cares that they're addicted and comes back. Guess what? Imagine that you could upgrade customer service to someone coming back because they feel better. Because they feel better. Now, what did I realise? The industries that I were in, I was making people feel better and they were coming back because they're having a great experience. But guess what? The product was literally killing them. You know, fry-ups and gambling isn't an industry that I represent. So obviously me moving into meditation, you know, that is carbon footprint free, baby. You don't need anything to work with me. Oh, well, you need your breath. So as I've mastered my passions of being able to hold space with people, being able to bring them into the now, bring them into the moment, make them realise how special this is, make them feel how expansive it is, and that my time is what I'm giving you. My time, just like in the youth hostel, I wasn't giving them anything. They didn't pay. I was giving them my time. And my time is what's valuable to me. So when I work with people, that's why it's precious, because I realise what's important. Your time. Your now. I knew that 12 years ago. I knew that from the very beginning of my life, but I'm not going to go into that now. This is directed to the people in the customer service industry. For anyone serving someone, realise what's important. Whether the system has told you that you're on a complaints call and that's the person you have to be, and you're rolling your eyes and stuff, be like, do you know what? If this job is making you devalue your moment by rolling your eyes, it's you that's choosing that. You're the one rolling your eyes. I could have rolled my eyes at those people. I could have rolled my eyes. I could have been the woman that says to my mum, I don't have to do tours. They want so much from me, don't they? But I was never that person. Now I look back and I realise that I was consciously choosing not to be that person because I realised what was wrong in the world. But at the time it was very unconscious and organic because I literally wanted to feel happy. I literally wanted to be free. I literally wanted to take opportunities whenever they were given to me. And now that I've evolved, now that I'm ascending, now that I'm obviously accessing higher dimensions of consciousness and connected to source, I understand my essence. I understand why I'm here to lead, because I was never unconscious. Now that I reflect back at the actions, I can see exactly who I always was. And the distractions and the layers on top of, you're not supposed to give a tour. Hey, I'll give a tour of anywhere, right? It's my world now, yeah? But even at the time, it was rule breaking. And you can see now when the New Earth leaders are stepping into these authoritative roles to say, I can guide you. It's not out of pain, it's out of love. It's a revolutionary space in reality, where we are saying we have known for a long time and we have tapped into being very aware now from reflecting on the past that we were always conscious of it. Always. And now that's our job, to invite you to reflect back. So I ask you to reflect back at your jobs, have a look at the things that you could do differently if there wasn't so many rules and regulations, but if there was truly a message to give that customer the greatest experience between yourselves, because you want to have a good time and they want to have a good time. I wasn't giving to the people having the tour for them to, and me, oh God, I'm behind now, oh, at least they had a good time. I was doing it for me. Yeah? They benefited because I wanted to enjoy my moment. I wanted to be a rule breaker. I wanted to be free. I wanted to make sure that I gave my all for my life. And what's the byproduct of that? It's that others get to enjoy that light. So what is it that you could take the lead of today in your industry? What could you say, today I'm going to serve in a different way? And watch your colleagues say, you don't have to do that. Oh, goody goody. Watch them and show them that you're actually expanding yourself, and it's nothing to do with them. It's nothing to actually do with the customers. It's actually to do with yourself, to say, I've got more to give. Instead of being constricted by the rules that the job description details for you, is there some more magic that you can put into your life today? Because I'm sure there is. And being kind, being giving, being open, being loving to yourself, asking yourself, why am I here? Am I here to create good memories for myself? Because I truly am in my work. I want good memories. And good memories don't mean happy, jovial, good ones. Oh, it's so lovely when we're busy and there's a queue and everyone's complaining of me. Haha, it's so great. No. A good memory is being like, hey, I'm not this job. I'm here to create a memory for myself. So I'm going to bring myself into my space. I'm going to realise I'm not going to be overwhelmed and be like, 6 hours, can't wait to go. I'm going to be like, what can I learn in this moment? I'm going to try and scan and find someone that's not frowning at me. Found one? Cool. Then I'm going to move to the person that is frowning and I'm going to pull that smile and I'm going to give it. Oh look, I made them smile. Now what? And you just go around and maybe plant the smile even, just by you anchoring it in and being like, what am I here to create? I'm here to create a good memory. Hey. Even if in a meditative practice, which I hope that you all utilise, And if you don't, come and see me, because it's basically the whole meaning of life, to activate your consciousness, which you already are. I teach open-eyed meditation, where you're not actually having to sit still whatsoever. Boom! Yeah, new vibration meditation. But basically, that even in those stressful situations where your body is like, I want to go, 6 hours to go or something, or you don't feel like you can make a happy memory in that situation, then take yourself away into your own body and witness from a alternative perspective. So my alternative perspective in the tour was that they were watching the performer rather than giving them the real me. Oh, I've never done this. Oh, I don't know if I can do it. So instead I was like, let's go. Hello, welcome. It's so nice to see you. Yeah, come on in. Let me show you around. Over here we've got this fantastic fireplace. It's huge, isn't it? Can you imagine having this in your house? You know, turn on. But what I was doing was I was observing from the inside, looking out, saying, I don't actually have to actually engage Emily's narrative. I can actually be on the outside acting without attaching to any emotions and sensations, because as you can probably imagine, maybe for some of you, if they say go and do this and you haven't done it before, like, I haven't done that before, and you go and you're nervous and stuff and all that's coming in. But instead, like when that feeling used to be in me before I was like meditating and stuff, when those feelings would be inside me, I'm going, oh, they're nervous, haven't done this. I was like, they don't know that. They don't know that. So what does it feel like when I transfer in the energy of just acting on the outside and actually from the inside witnessing the rebirth of me to say, it's only me that's saying I haven't done something and that I should be nervous. So what if I don't say I'm nervous, but I use them as a reflection to say if they would have a good time if I stopped being nervous and actually served, then guess what? I get to break this old pattern of saying, no, I'm not, no, I'm in the box, no, that's not my job, because of that reflection that another is offering you when they come into your space to ask you, could you make a nice memory for me? Could you be there for me? Do you have anything to share with me? At that point I could have said, no, I've got nothing to share, see you later. And would have that been true? Because although they were asking me for a tour, what were they really asking me for? A memory. So what are the customers in your service coming to you for? Because are they really coming for dinner? They can get that anywhere, right? What they're really coming for is a memory. And once we realise that we're memory makers, and that the leaders that are saying to you, come and sit on our programs, we're not saying you walk away with something, are we? I've got a parcel, it's a meditation parcel. Oh, enlightenment, here you go, you can hold it. We're giving you the experience and the memory and the remembering that you are an awakened, enlightened, conscious being, fractal of source. And then you realise that you remove any product because it is just a watered down version of an experience of which that you wish to have, e.g. chocolate bar would give you a hit of happiness. You take out the chocolate bar, you take out the product, and really what that service is giving you is a beautiful memory. So I've definitely mastered creating beautiful divine memories, which is anchored in the feeling of remembering what we're here for. But through my experience of customer service, now that I reflect back on, I ask you too to reflect back and say, if we were all focused on creating a lovely memory, then would have I served in a different way rather than being distracted by the 3D matrix system of the product being the main purpose of why they were there? And if it is the main purpose and you're not interested in making a memory, then again, reflect. Reflect within and ask yourself, is there somewhere else I need to serve? I've definitely found my space at holdingspaceforyou.co.uk for incredible enlightenment programs and awakening, shifting your beliefs and your thoughts and having huge epiphanies that don't take time because there is none. But I hope that you enjoyed that small story that I got to evolve from the person that I was, but that the person and the fractal piece that I truly love. I respect her and I honour her, and every dish she's washed and floor she's mopped and sandwich she's made and plate she's dropped. She was always, always in service for others. And that you gotta love. Namaste.